So I want to tell you the story about how I arrived at this BPD diagnosis because I think it has three really important lessons when it comes to mental health and being diagnosed with things. The first lesson is that you should go and get a professional opinion if you have the ability to. Obviously, not everybody has access to mental health care, so self-diagnosis is sometimes the only way that people can learn about themselves, but there's a lot of different overlapping symptoms that even I, as someone who has studied psychology and neuroscience and counseling now for like 8 years, missed. So it is very important to go and get a professional to have a look at you. It's different when you're looking at yourself versus when somebody is looking at you from the outside. So it is important to get that opinion. So to the story. I was getting assessed for premenstrual dysphoric disorder, which I still am. It's an ongoing process. You have to track your moods in relation to your cycle for at least 2 months. And while I was being assessed, I said a couple of things that kind of clued my psychiatrist in, and he asked, "Have you ever been assessed for personality disorder?" And I said, "No, but I have asked to be assessed for one years ago." And the psychiatrist at that time said, "There's no medication for BPD, therefore you don't want a BPD diagnosis, therefore I'm not going to assess you for one." And back then I didn't know how to advocate for myself, so I just kind of said, okay, and moved on with my life and totally forgot about it. So the second lesson is to get a second opinion. If something feels off with your mental health service provider, then it might be, and it's okay to go and get a second opinion. And the third lesson is that it's really important to know enough to be able to advocate for yourself. So yes, going to see a professional is very important, but also understanding enough about mental health that you can communicate to the mental health professionals in a way where you make sure that they are respecting you and taking you seriously. That's also just as important. And a lot of that comes with the work that people usually do when they're self-diagnosing. Because if a doctor said what that past psychiatrist said to me now, I would know what to say. I would know to say that that's not a good reason to not assess someone for something, or I would immediately go and get a second opinion. But the ability to recognize that as an inappropriate response from a mental health care professional, that comes with a lot of research and learning and listening to other people's stories. So you kind of need both, like self-diagnosis or just self-research and a good mental health professional to really get the results that you need.